Part 2 of today's pound yen short. So on the weekly we can clearly see last week was a continuation of a potential down move. No real reason at that stage to suggest that it was going to go down until we broke the low of this here this week. Again, you have to be careful. You can't presume anything because that could turn around and turn green, but it's a good indicator when you add together what you've got on the other charts. So I'm not actually sure, I didn't check that, because when I took my trade it definitely hadn't broken the low of that one there. But let's just have a look. Again, a reminder, you can hover over the line. You have to do it carefully, double check it, because you can get differing results. So 179318, and it does look a little lower, 180340. So yes, now it is lower, but again, you can't presume anything. Never trade what I'm talking about on here. Always make your own decisions. So the daily, clearly we had a swing trend in place, but we hadn't broken down by the looks of it. Low, high, high, low, high, high. We can draw a line on the low of that candle there, and we hadn't broken through the low of it. Just to be pedantic, that is a inside bar inside the high and low of that one. I think I'll double check. The high is 135027 and the high of that one is 134980. I do apologise, it is a visual whatever they call that. That's amazing. It definitely looks, I've got to check that again. The high 135027, the high, oh I do apologise, I got that wrong, yeah, 13498, so I was right, that's higher. Oh no, I was right. I thought that was an inside bar. It looks like an inside bar, but it is actually the penultimate, what I call the penultimate candle. Sorry for that. So we still haven't broken it until the close of today, but we can clearly see we're in a massive downtrend. Once we'd broken the low of that, even though we hadn't closed below the low of that, we were high, low, lower, high, lower, low. So we were attacking lower levels. We can draw that one in, because obviously we've got to get through that daily low before we can attack this one. We can draw this one in, and we can draw that one in, because that would be a problem if we do finally get through all of this stuff here. In fact, because I can't see those, we should really double check the lows of all the lows are drawn in as well. So now we can drop to the H4. We could have drawn a ascending trend line here, because this high has been broken by this, and I could draw an ascending trend line. We could draw a descending trend line on this, but I'm not going to bother. This is telling us that we're good to go to the short side potentially, but the cream on the cake for my trade this morning was the H4. So clearly all of this support here had been broken by this big H4 candle. Critically, apart from the fact that pound is showing screaming weakness and Japanese yen has been screaming strength all morning, this has been bobbing around between about 4 and where it is now, top of the pile. Let's drag the trade onto the chart. Waited for the H4 to close. Waited for this. Remember, we talk about the burst through, pullback, break and close. So that was a strong signal to the downside, massively strong there. But I didn't want to trade into all of this and that was last night anyway, 8 o'clock in the evening. So once we'd broken some levels of support, remember, look at this as well, there's a pullback, so you could even just say it's broken that support there, and there's a pullback. Tests and retests, old support becoming new resistance. Remember, SBR, tests and retests. That there was probably about the time I took my GZ long, something like a 35 pip move there. You can enter that using the higher time frames, but using the exact same method, either using the histogram, which is becoming a leading indicator almost for me in my trades, because here we have again, once that's closed, burst below the 20, which is massively bearish, pullback, which we expect to remember, and the burst and close, or break and close. Previous bar closed, waited for that patiently, hit the trade. H4, and that was somewhere in the region of 60 pips, I think. 60 pips. That's 12 times what I was aiming for a few months ago. Yeah, just under 60 pips actually. Well, I can see it exactly. It's entered 133.12, take profit 132.57. 12 and 43 is 55, just short of 60 pips. 11 times my daily requirement of pips and pounds. One trade, so you can see why I'm a happy bunny really. Target was the daily low, old support. The FXI pivots aren't on this particular time frame. They are now, and you can see we've got S3 here as well. We busted, there's the daily pivot, we busted S1, busted S2, busted S3, and we're still going down now. Average daily range for 4 days, I need to change that to 5 really, is 121. We're extremely below that. There's no more news today. There was a little bit news at the start of the day, so I will be looking for a pullback later on this one. But again, once again, don't trade what I see, trade what I teach. So you know, again, we can clearly see what's happened here. I entered just before the close of this big old red bar here, but the higher time frames, as I said in the previous video, higher time frames always lead the way. If they do trigger, and you take it on the strength of the higher time frame, always allow for a bit of a pullback. Well, you know well enough why now, because you get the pullbacks because of the breaks. Here we had a break of support. Let's zoom in a bit more. Just checking the high of that candle there, that one. Low, high, high, low, high, high. High, low, lower, high, lower, low. Just check that, there's a lower high there. Yep, under there I'm talking about. Doesn't look, I'm not sure whether we closed below that. Oops, do apologise for this, I should be more careful. Only got 2 colours to choose from, yellow or green, and I always choose the wrong one. Right, that didn't close below there. It doesn't matter, because at this stage in the game I was relying on the histo alerts, and we're on our second bar, so that's another, you know, this thing has got so many little secrets to give up for us if you're following if you are going to be a follower of my method. Once we'd broken the low of that candle, it didn't really matter. I don't think that closed below that green low. Close 133.285, low 133.275. No, it didn't. It was a 1 pip out. So and as they say, the rest of the story is history. But I've never traded pivots before. Hold my hands up, couldn't give a monkey's about them, and I don't think I'm trading the way most people trade them now. All I'm thinking is once we've broken with our histogram and the support and resistance breakages, once we've broken one level, it's coming up to test it, we can target the next level on a trending day like today. Big money day. Whereas obviously if you've got a ranging day, never assume anything, guys. Always just use your support and resistance. It quite often, it doesn't always, should I say, it quite often ties up with the S1, S2s and stuff anyway. Not sure what the calculations are for pivots, but I mean, I did used to calculate them manually. I was shown how to do it, but don't do that anymore. But this is on its way further, and why shouldn't it be? It's broken massive. All the time frames are lining up now, so it's on its way down by the looks of it to this D1 low here. So you might want to have a look at that after you've watched the video. Thank you for watching, have a great day, and I hope this has been helpful, guys. I'm off to walk the dog for a change.